Hey there, sunshines! So it's officially February, and that means it's time for some fun Valentine's Day looks. And today I wanted to get a little outside of the norm with this really fun glam rock kind of Valentine's Day situation. Lots of metallics, very smoky. So I didn't want to make this like an anti-Valentine's Day thing because I think you could very much wear this to a Valentine's Day date, especially if you're going somewhere fun, like to a concert or I don't know, something kind of grungy, a favorite pub that sells really good cheese fries, if I had my pick. So stay tuned to get my step-by-step tutorial for this look, but first, make sure and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, so that way you guys never miss a thing. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and prime my face. I'm gonna use my Becca First Light Priming Filter. And this feels so good on my skin. I think it's my nickel allergy kind of trying to flare up a little bit. And so my skin's been super itchy and kind of angry lately. And now I'm gonna go ahead and apply my Too Faced Born This Way foundation. Now lately I have been applying this straight from my beauty blender. With this particular foundation formula, that's fine. It actually gives a really full coverage that's still very skin-like, which this foundation does anyway. But if you're using it with a more light to medium coverage foundation, it's gonna sheer it out probably too much if you apply it that way. So what I normally do is I apply my foundation and then just use my beauty blender to blend it out and make sure that there's no harsh edges. In addition to that, if you wanna apply with a sponge, a lot of people like to use a dry sponge if they want more coverage. And while you can use your beauty blender dry, because it is such a porous, absorbent sponge, it's going to soak up more of your product that way. I actually recommend getting some of these cheapy little disposable sponge wedges. They're much less absorbent and they're much better for dry use. So now I'm gonna go in with my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, and this is actually shade Fair, so it is a little bit lighter than my actual skin tone. But it works really well as a matte highlighter. And so, you guys know I hate chin highlighter, but you can actually even put a little bit of this on your chin because it's matte. It's not gonna give that greasy, annoying, shiny look, and it will bring that area forward. So now I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of cream contour. This is the Anastasia cream contour kit in medium, so this is shade Chocolate. And I just use a little stippling brush. Alright, so now I'm just going to take a fluffy eyeshadow brush with a little bit of HD powder, and I'm going to go into the areas that I want more mattified and I want to make sure that don't budge, including under my eyes. Now, I don't bake on myself very often because my skin is more dry. So if I use a traditional setting powder that's going to absorb oil and meant to lock everything in place, it actually creates creases and kind of crepiness under my eyes unless I'm very, very moisturized and very careful with it. So what I like to do is use just a little bit of HD powder. It locks everything in place a little bit, blurs surface texture, so that way it looks nice and smooth under my eyes. And I like to apply a copious amount of it if I'm going to be applying dark shadow. So that way any shadow fallout just sweeps right away with the translucent powder. Now in the summertime, my skin does naturally get just a little bit more oily, so I will tend to use more traditional setting powders sometimes, but right now, this is all I need. HD powder is great for buffing out those little expression lines that I tend to get right in the center of my forehead, because I'm always making the WTF face. All right, so now I'm just gonna quickly do my brows, and I've been using the Total Temptation brow pencil from Maybelline. These are newer, and I actually really, really like them. They have a larger triangle tip. They're not a really precise brow pencil, but they make it really quick and easy to do my brows, and they look much more natural and feathery when I do them this way. And I use shade medium brown. I think there is one more shade up from that if you have darker brows. So there's a dark brown, and then there's a couple of lighter shades. I feel like, you know, with a lot of drugstore products, the shade range is not always what you're gonna get with prestige brands. So there's no Auburn, nothing like that. So the way that I get around that is I fill my brows in with the pencil, and then I still use my Anastasia brow gel in Auburn on top just to give it that more Auburn tint and lock everything in place. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and prime my eyes with a little Urban Decay primer potion. And I'll be using the Prism palette for pretty much all of my eyeshadows except one. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and go in with Unity as my all over base shade, just with a large, fluffy eyeshadow brush. All right, so I'm gonna take a little bit of Lure just on a clean blending brush, and I'm gonna go ahead and just blend that through the crease to kind of go ahead and lay down my foundation. And it's that nice, pretty kind of soft mauve purple hue. So I'm okay if it kind of peeks out from underneath my shadow later on. And then I'm just gonna take a little smudge brush and I'm gonna go along the bottom of my lash line doing the same thing. Okay, so now for the fun part. I'm gonna take the Tarte Chrome Paint in shade Fire Dancer with a flat eyeshadow brush, and I'm just gonna apply it all over my lid. These are so crazy pigmented, they're so pretty. And where my eyes are just slightly hooded, I do like to build my lid color up right above the mobile crease, so that way you can still really see it when my eyes are open. If you have hooded eyes and you're trying to find where to stop that lid color, If you kind of feel for your orbital bone, you can feel where it stops, where your crease normally would be. That's kind of where you want to take your lid shade up to. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take a pencil brush in the shade Obsidian, and I'm gonna go ahead and lay down where I want my dark color to go so that I can go back in and blend it. The shade is so dark, you wanna make sure you kind of get it in the right shape for your eye and in the right place to start off with. Then you just take a clean blending brush and you're gonna go in little circles until everything's blended and you have no harsh edges. And you can just take a fan brush and kind of sweep away the shadow fallout you've got right now. So then I'm just gonna take a small eyeshadow brush and Lucid, and I'm gonna go in right on the inner corners here. Now I'm just gonna go in with a black eyeliner pencil. This is the Urban Decay 24/7 eyeliner in Perversion. All right, so now I'm just gonna take a pencil brush and I'm gonna mix a little bit of Fire Dancer with Obsidian. So it's kind of that like blacky pink. And I'm just gonna go ahead and line, kind of smoke out my lower lash line. So then I'm just gonna go ahead and curl my lashes. And I'm gonna use a little bit of the Urban Decay Troublemaker mascara. I like to use this mascara when I'm using false lashes because it's super, super black. And it helps my lashes blend in with the false lashes much better. And then I'm just gonna add some false lashes. And I don't know if you guys can see, but I accidentally touched my black lash glue to my lid right there. So that's kind of the downfall of using black lash glue, even though it makes your lashes blend in a lot more naturally. But no worries. It's really easy to go back over it with just a little bit of shadow and it blends in really well. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of Fire Dancer and blend it right over that lash glue. And it just disappears. It's definitely not as much of a dilemma as getting mascara on your eye makeup, and it's much easier to clean up than that. So now I just need a little color on my face to balance everything out. So I'm gonna go in with a little matte Park Avenue Princess from Tarte to just really softly kind of give more definition to my contour without adding any lines. Then I'm gonna apply a little bit of NARS Orgasm because it is that perfect peachy pink. It's gonna give me color, but it's not gonna overwhelm anything or clash with any of the colors that I'm using. Because my cheeks are not the focus here, it's more my eyes. But if I don't put anything on them, then it makes me look really washed out. So I'm gonna kind of stick with the same color theme here, and for my lips, I'm going to use the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink in Ruler. This is part of their new Unnudes collection, and it is probably my favorite shade in the collection. And then I'm gonna top everything off by going back into the center of my lid with Fire Dancer to make sure it's bright. And I'm gonna hit my lips just a little bit with it too. Now I do wanna add a little bit of highlighter, but I don't wanna go overboard. So I'm gonna use a little bit of Lavender Steel in the NYX Duochrome highlighters. And I'm not wetting it, I'm not putting a lot on, I'm just lightly dusting it. It goes with the color theme of the look, but unless you wet it, it's not super pigmented. So it just adds a little bit of radiance. So that is the look. You are ready to go kick. You got some motorcycle boots or a leather jacket. That would go well with this. Maybe hit up a Taco Bell, go to a rock concert. I don't know what you kids do these days. Anyways, make sure and like this video if you liked it and hit the subscribe button so that way you guys don't miss any of the videos coming out for you on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And feel free to share if you know of anybody that could use a little sunshine in their day.